Hey fantastic people, welcome back to F1ntastic Gaming. You can see today we have a very exciting video. It is our very first F1 2021 Last of First challenge. You can see we're going to be doing it at the British Grand Prix. We're going to be racing as Lewis Hamilton, and I do have the full game now. Without the full game I would not be able to record this video, but yeah, I'm doing this with the full game. I started off with the one shot qualifying so that I can ensure that I'm going to start last on the grid for the race. And yeah, I'm really excited for this race. It's going to be a huge challenge because I'm still not fully used to this game, but yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm looking forward to this.
A warm welcome to you all joining us here at Silverstone today as the grid begins to form up for what we hope will be another phenomenal race. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the British Grand Prix. The 3.6 mile long Silverstone circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and Copse flat out. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn one. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Ricciardo, Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso, Vettel, Stroll, Leclerc and Pierre Gasly, Tsunoda, Sainz, Esteban Ocon and Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher, George Russell and Nikita Mazepin, Latifi and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
So we saw those new graphics as we saw in the first video that I made on F1 2021. I do understand that this Last of First challenge is coming quite late, but that's because of, challenges that I've had in terms of getting these videos done. But yeah, I'm trying my best to, get as many videos out as possible in as quick succession as possible. But you can see we're going for 8-8 setup. That is the new default setup, and I could see why it's the new default setup, because we're definitely going to need a lot more downforce as we go to 5 red lights for the 2021 British GP Last of Us challenge. It's lights out and away we go. You can see we get a great start again. We're past Latifi, we're past Mazepin, that is, and now we're up in a P18. You can see we get a great exit through turn 1. Don't know why the MFD has popped up. Maybe I pressed the button by accident or something, but you can see we're making a huge dive bomb down into Village Corner, and we ride the curb a little bit too much. We go for the switchback down into the loop, make a bit of contact with Yuki Tsunoda. We're only up in a P12, so it's been a little bit difficult in these first few corners. We haven't really been able to make the dive bombs that we usually can at turn 1 because of how the corners are at Silverstone. But you can see here we're catching up to the Ferraris now. We're trying to get past them, but we're kind of boxed in a little bit, and we make a bit of contact with Leclerc as well. But we're side by side with Carlos Sainz now, and we're using the slipstream, so we're side by side with Leclerc. Sorry, we made contact with Sainz. We're coming up behind Sainz now and down into Copse Corner, side by side with Sainz, and we push through and we get past him. It was a safe move. We squeeze him out a little bit there, no contact made, and we're up into P10. You can see coming to the end of the lap, we make a dive bomb down into the Vale chicane. I'm telling you now, that Vale chicane, it's one of my favorite chicanes on the track. It's one of my favorite set of corners on the track, and it's a great overtaking opportunity there. It's after Stowe Corner. But yeah, you can see we're trying to chase after Sebastian Vettel now. We're up in a P9, but I know I can go higher. I'm in a Mercedes. You know, the car is pretty fast in the game as far as I've seen so far. So yeah, I feel like I can get past these guys. So I'm trying to use overtake mode. I'm trying not to use too much, but yeah, I'm trying to use the slipstream and overtake mode. I'm trying to use the straight line speed to try and get past these AI. You can see we closed so much up to Vettel, but we have to make huge lift at Cop's corner because of the dirty air. We just didn't have enough grip to try and stay as close to him. But through Maggots and Beckett's, this is my Achilles heel because I'm still not good at the S sections in the F1 2021 game. So you can see we do lose time to Vettel. DRS isn't enabled either, so that doesn't help us. We tried to go for a dive bomb down into the down into the Vale chicane, but it just didn't happen. I think we did make a bit of contact with Vettel, but yeah, we just weren't able to get past him. Hopefully now we're gonna have a better opportunity. You can see down into the village corner, I'm being quite aggressive here. I'm trying to catch up to Vettel, and you can see he does lock up ahead, so he's feeling the pressure. The AI is feeling the pressure, and now I feel like we have a better chance to get past Vettel because now we have DRS. But I am still fearful that we might be stuck in a DRS train. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope I can get past these cars. But yeah, it looks like I might be able to get past these cars because you can see through Brooklands and Luffield we do pretty well. Those corners, those couple of corners, I'm actually pretty good at. I enjoy those corners. I get the flow of those corners, so I'm able to do those better. But you can see coming through Cops again, we're getting hit by dirty air, and Maggots and Beckett's just doesn't work out for us. We're not able to gain enough time, and again the dirty air, we have to go off track at the exit of Stowe. But forget that, we're gonna make the dive bomb on Sebastian Vettel. No more dirty air from him. It's only 2 cars ahead of us now that are giving us dirty air: Stroll, and I think that is Fernando Alonso in the Alpine. So yeah, I'm proud of these Vale chicane dive bombs. And you can see we tried another one, but then I thought the better of it. I thought let's go for the switchback, but Stroll blocks us off, and we just don't have enough space. We got a run on him, but we didn't have the space to use that momentum, and that momentum got destroyed pretty much. So yeah, this is not good for us in our attack on Stroll. But you can see that Vettel might be getting back at us because the proximity arrows show he is very, very close behind. But still, I think we can still get past Stroll, because as we did with Vettel, we just stayed behind. We were patient, although we might not be patient now because we're in the slipstream of Stroll. Can we get past him before Cops? No, we can. We couldn't even come alongside. Again, running a little bit wide at Cops because of the dirty air. The dirty air is really hampering us right now, and you can see coming through the Maggots and Beckett section, again the dirty air is just hampering us. We're just not able to get the car turned around. And yeah, we do get DRS here, but we're too far back. Stroll has DRS too because he's behind Alonso. So unless Stroll goes for a move on Alonso, which he does right here, you can see Stroll is going for a move on Alonso, so that is going to help us. That's what I was trying to say. If Stroll goes for a move on Alonso, they're going to slow each other down. We can get past them. You can see through the Vale chicane, I'm very careful. I'm using the switchback, and as I did with Sainz and Leclerc at Luffield, I'm going to get past Alonso and chase after Stroll. You can see down into turn 1, we come alongside, we make a bit of contact, we squeeze him wide, and we're up in a P6. It's only lap 6. Yeah, we're up in a P6 on lap 6, and yeah, we've been battling hard, but I think it was worth it. You can see we got a great exit out of the Vale chicane. This is a better view from Vettel's nose cam. You can see that we got a great exit. We squeezed Alonso out a little bit, and then we chased after Stroll. And you can see though that Stroll is not giving up. He is still, planning. The AI is still right behind us, so we still have to be very, very careful. And I think it was at this moment when I was recording this race that I realized that Daniel Ricciardo is 4 seconds ahead of us. So I was like, by now there's barely 7 laps left in this race. There's no way we're gonna catch up to Ricciardo. We don't have DRS or anything. So yeah, this is good. This is gonna be a long, hard race. We're gonna have to defend from Stroll, especially because Stroll is looking really strong. You can see I hyperdrive this, so we did this in hyperdrive. I did this recording in super speed because you can see that Stroll just got such a good run out of Chapel. I just couldn't get a good run out of Chapel Corner onto this straight. So yeah, Stroll just got past us. It looked like he got past so easily because he just got so much of a better exit. You can see into the Vale chicane. I try to close up to him. I do that successfully, but I can't get past him yet. So I want to get past him. I want to get past the Aston Martin. I want to finish as high as I can. But while we chase Stroll, I find out now that we are going to be pitting on this lap. We're actually going to be spending more time on the soft tires than we are on the medium, which feels kind of unrealistic as we make a huge dive bomb down into the village corner. Wow, that was a massive dive bomb from way back. Well, I mean, we were so far back, but we still went for the dive bomb. I'm checking for damage. We didn't get any damage. We got away with that. I cannot believe that we got away with that move, and it worked so perfectly. We're up into P6 now, and yeah, hopefully I can stay ahead. I'm not feeling any extra drag or loss of downforce or anything, so I don't have any damage. But yeah, we got past Stroll. It was an aggressive move, but I feel like it was kind of like required. And if you look at the top left corner, the gap ahead is just going up and up and up, so that means we gotta defend now. We gotta keep our position. We gotta keep P6 as Stroll tries to go around the outside of Stowe corner. We squeeze him out as we enter the pits. I completely forgot that we were coming into the pits when I squeezed him out there. But yeah, still going very aggressive, and we're into the slowest pit lane and pretty much the longest pit lane in F1. It feels so long. You're going at 60 kilometers per hour, and yeah, it's a really long pit lane. We come into the pits, we go onto our fresh set of medium tires, and whoa, we kind of go through the rear end of the Ferrari there. But yeah, it's very close in the pit lane now. It was a mediocre stop, and yeah, we come to the end of the pit lane now. We're gonna remove the pit limiter. We're coming out of the box. You can see we're in a pocket of clean air, but we still have to be careful because Vettel is right behind us, because he came in on the same lap too, and I think he got past Alonso. I'm not sure whether he got past Alonso before we pitted or after we pitted, but I do know that he is past Alonso now. And now Vettel is trying to get past us. You can see he has DRS. He's closing up to us so fast. We defend the inside line down into Brooklands, and you can see we break quite late. We locked up a little bit, I think, but yeah, we managed to squeeze him out. Aggressively, we maintained our position, but yeah, he got really close. He got really close to getting past us. The proximity arrows turned red, so that showed that he was right there and he was ready to get past us. But now we need to try and stay ahead. We need to stop battling with him. We need to make sure that we stay ahead and that we do well, because this outlap is very important, because I want to make sure that Lance Stroll comes out of the pits behind us. But you can see that the proximity arrow turned red again because Vettel nearly got past us again, because we were doing so bad through the Maggots and Beckett section. We just didn't get a great run through there. Even out of Cop's corner, we just didn't get the best run. And down the long hanger straight into the Stowe corner, you can see we do a little bit better. We gain a little bit of a gap on him, especially at the exit. At the exit, we gained around 4/10, so we came far ahead of him. We didn't take the Vale chicane that well, ran wide at the exit. But yeah, you can see a bunch of cars are into the pits. I hope we didn't lose too much time at the exit of the Vale chicane, but you can see that Stroll is coming out of the pits, and that we cross Stroll, we come out of the pits ahead of him. That was so close. He's still only 5/10 behind us. He's still so close behind, but we came out in front of him, and you can see that behind us, Stroll and Vettel were battling. I only noticed this while I was editing the video. When I was getting the replay camera recordings, I didn't notice that Vettel and Stroll were battling behind, but Vettel actually managed to get past Stroll into the village corner, and yeah, we've managed to stay ahead. But you can see again, out of the Vale chicane, we're just not able to hook that exit together, and another car is into the pits. It's Nikita Mazepin into the pits now, and now we're back up in a P6. We were in P7 earlier. I was a little bit worried that I might have lost a position somewhere, but it was just because Mazepin had not pit yet. You can see that both the Aston Martin cars are really close behind, especially Vettel. He's trying to use DRS, he's trying to use the slipstream, but he isn't able to get close enough to make a move. We get a good run through Brooklands, but a horrible run through Luffield, and yeah, that might cause some problems, because Vettel might use the slipstream down to the Copse corner, but I think we got a good enough exit out of Luffield, so I don't think he'll be able to slipstream us. But you can see at the exit of Copse, he does slipstream us. He gets a much better exit down into the Maggots corner, into the Maggots and Beckett section. He's not able to get past us, but he tries to go for a move around the outside. Wow, that was very close, and I think Stroll got ahead of Vettel. I think some contact might have been made as well. You can see there is contact made, and he even hits his own teammate, so he loses control of the car as he's trying to overtake us. So yeah, I don't know how that happened. I think he was turning in too fast, and he was turning into the corner too fast, and then that's why he made contact with me, because I was just taking the normal racing line, but he just tried to swoop in, and that didn't exactly work out for him. And now I'm pretty sure Vettel is into the pits, and yeah, now we have the challenge of Lance Stroll behind us. You can see that he was actually some distance behind us, but now he's caught up to us. You can see he's trying to go for a move around the outside of Stowe corner, but he doesn't have the grip. He does the switchback, but then we have to stay on track. He has to leave us the space. That's why he's not able to complete that switchback. And then through the Vale chicane, we do pretty well. We still go wide on the curb, but I went wide on the curb pretty much every time I took the Vale chicane. So yeah, we're around 5 tenths, coming down to 4 tenths ahead of him. And now this is where he's a real threat. I think this is the Wellington straight down to the Brooklands corner. You can see he goes for a move around the outside. We defend the inside line, go heavily on the curb, and then he tries to go for a switchback. He tries to go around the outside of Luffield, but that's way too difficult. I don't think he had the grip for that. We get a pretty good exit out of Luffield, but through the Woodcut corner, we get a horrible run through there. We even go off track, and Stroll, he's not alongside us as we go down to the Cop's corner, and you can see around the outside, we just took the that racing line. We just had the better racing line, and you can see now Stroll got such a bad exit out of the Cop's corner. He was being attacked by Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri, who's come out of nowhere. This is Stroll's onboard. You can see that he dived for the apex, but then I swooped around the outside. He was already there at the apex, and then I just took that corner, and then Gasly got the great exit, but through the Maggots corner into the next corner after that, he was just not able to commit to that move. It's quite risky trying to go for an overtake in that section, but Stroll, he got a great exit out of the Chapel curve, and you can see down to Stowe corner, he goes for a move around the outside. He's fully ahead of us, but then we stick to the apex. We squeeze Stroll out. We don't squeeze him off the track, but we squeeze him out respectfully, and we just take our position. You can see Stroll even kicked up some dirt there under braking for Stowe corner. So yeah, I think that's why we got a better run through there. But into the Vale chicane, you can see we just hit the apexes beautifully, braking nice and late. And yeah, we did much better at the Vale chicane this time. And now I've just realized that we're going on to the final lap of this race. Yes, we're gonna go into cockpit mode. I don't know if I've told you guys about this, but I have in a couple of videos. But it was a tradition that I used to do on F1 2019, F1 2018. On the final lap of every race, I would go into cockpit mode, and that's exactly what I'm doing in this last to first challenge. You can see it's kind of compromising our pace, because in cockpit mode I'm definitely not as good as I am on T-Cam, but you can see that we're defending the inside line with Stroll. We're trying not to make any contact. We're trying not to be too aggressive, and you can see we just defended that pretty nicely. We just went for the apex and then just got the traction out of the Luffield corner. It's worked out pretty well for us, but Stroll is still in our slipstream, and I'm going to defend this as much as I have to, because we're not going to get higher than this. I mean, Ricciardo's 11 seconds ahead, so we need to be careful, but Stroll gains time on us through the Copse corner. He gets a better run into the Maggots and Beckett section. We go into our weakest section on this track, and you can see we did fairly well, but then you can see Stroll is still trying to get past us, but I think Stroll made contact with us. I think we made contact with Stroll coming through the Maggots and Beckett section. You can see that he has damage to his front, to the front left part of his front wing. You can see again, same as his teammate, he was trying to go for that corner. I think that's the Beckett's corner, or it's the corner before the Beckett's corner. You can see he's turning there. He can clearly see that my wheel is right there. I'm not going to move. I'm not going to let him through. I'm just going for the apex. You can see I'm just turning into the corner normally, and then he just comes and hits me from behind. Obviously, he's the one that ended up with damage. He's the one that ruined his front left end plate. That's the word for it. The front left end plate. And yeah, the gap behind is 1.7 seconds now. I think that's our position secured pretty much. There's nothing I could have done there. As you come through the Stowe corner, you can see that Valtteri Bottas has won the British GP. Sergio Perez with the fastest lap in P4. And yeah, we come through the Vale chicane now. We took it pretty well, even in cockpit mode, which I was pretty surprised about. And we're coming to the line. We're gonna celebrate this because P6 in our very first 2021 last of first challenge. I'll take that. It was a difficult challenge. The circuit is quite difficult. I'm still getting used to the game. We got driver off the day. I think we definitely deserve that. And yeah, there was some crazy action behind us. We're gonna go back to the end of lap number 12. You can see that behind me in Stroll, Gasly, and I think that is Fernando Alonso in the Alpine. They were battling for, I think, what is P8? Yes, they were battling for P8. You can see behind them, so first of all, Gasly managed to stay ahead, and behind them, Carlos Sainz and Esteban Ocon were battling. You can see that Fernando Alonso is getting back at Gasly, and you can see that they're going in double file, both the Alpine cars trying to make up positions, and it looks like they might not make those positions. They're still going for it. Ocon and Sainz are still side by side. I think Alonso gave up that position. He decided that he can't get past Gasly just yet, but that was actually Leclerc battling with Ocon. It was not Sainz, it was Leclerc and Ocon. They're still side by side through Luffield. They've been side by side for half of the lap around Silverstone now, and Ocon finally gets past Leclerc, and now he's gonna try and chase after his teammate, but he's not the only one chasing after his teammate, because Carlos Sainz is chasing after his Ferrari teammate as well. So Leclerc, after losing out to Ocon, might lose out to Sainz as well as they enter the Maggots and Beckett's section. You can see this is where on lap number 13 I made contact with Stroll, and since I made contact with Stroll, I backed Stroll up into this pack, and in this pack Gasly is the only one who didn't have DRS, as the Alpines are side by side now through Stowe corners. So are the Ferraris. This is crazy last lap action. Into the last 3 corners they all go. You can see that I think that's Ocon who gets past Stroll. He's made up so many positions in this final lap, and now there's Carlos Sainz getting past Pierre Gasly as they go up to the line. He's gonna go down to the line, and Gasly barely gets beaten by Carlos Sainz. This is Gasly's onboard. You can see through club corner, he has to back out of it. He's not able to absolutely go for it. That's why he loses the position. That was so close, and it was absolutely crazy. Let's watch this podium ceremony.
Here at the British Grand Prix, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
That last first challenge was absolutely crazy. It's a real shame we couldn't get into the top 5, but we were already miles behind Ricciardo by the time we got to P6, and that was still pretty early on in the race, so you could see that some of the cars were kind of holding me up, and then I couldn't catch up to Ricciardo. I had to defend from the cars behind, and Esteban Ocon on the final lap, that was absolutely insane. And of course there's Sebastian Vettel. He had to make a second pit stop. Very, very unfortunate for him, although he did pretty much caused his own incident. He did pretty much hit my rear right tire, was it, just like his teammate did. And yeah, Stroll only lost 1 position because he hit me on the final lap, but Vettel, he hit me like, you know, in the middle of the race or towards the end of the race. He just had to come into the pits. He wouldn't be able to sustain with that wing damage. He had to end it there. He had to come into the pits, and he ended up finishing last place. Yeah, it's a real shame, but I think we did pretty well. I think we performed pretty well, seeing that it's a challenging circuit, and I was facing a lot of challenges with this game, especially with the braking. ABS, not having ABS in this new F1 game is a lot harder than it is when you don't have ABS in F1 2020. So yeah, be sure to stay tuned for more F1 2021 content coming soon. This is F1ntastic Gaming.